Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, former Abia State Governor Orji Uzor blames IPOB for taking its agitations for self-determination too far. It says restructuring remains the only viable tool to address all agitations in the country. About 50 people are feared dead after a boat carrying traders capsized in Kiri village in Munia local government area of Niger State. President Mahmoud Buhari leaves for New York to attend the 72nd session of the United Nations General Assembly, which kicks off on Monday. And U.S. Secretary General Rex Tillerson says President Donald Trump is open to staying in the Paris Accord on climate change, given the right conditions. We begin tonight with more reactions trailing the decision of the Nigerian military in declaring IPOB a terror group, this time coming from the former governor of Abia State, where the tension stemmed. Mr. Kalu has condemned the activities of the group, which he says were only being used by politicians for political reasons. He says the fight by IPOB for Biafra is not sincere and has asked the federal government to consider the 2014 confab to help douse the tension across the land.
When you go to a place, somebody shows army uniform. Somebody say he had Biafra intelligence agency. Somebody tell you he had Biafran army. Do you need to bring police? You don't need to bring police, for God's sake. You need to roll out the army because he has challenged the sovereignty of our nation. And that is what is this. I don't know why people are shouting all over. I'm in Abia. I have seen mostly all the security chiefs. I've gone around Aba. I've gone around to see things by myself that the governors are trying to rally around now. They were, let me be honest with you, some of politicians were playing politics with it. They are thinking these boys will help them to win the election. It's impossible. It's not our law. It's not our way. Election must be democratically done. These boys are not capable of holding anybody to ransom because they are not sincere. Fight for Biafra is not a sincere fight, it's destruction. If it's sincere, it will succeed. If it's not sincere, it's gone to the dustbin because it's not sincere. What is sincere is that we must come back to see how Igbos, everywhere we are, we must get equity. Restructure is the only way that we can go. Country must restructure. Socially, restructuring does not mean divide the country. Restructuring means put things in order. We have gone past going to Abuja every month to share money. We are now thinking, how do we going to live together as a country? We should go back to the conference resolutions. Let's start with that because that was constituted fairly. Let us go back. I'm pleading with the federal government, with everybody, to go back with the 2014 constitutional confab, reformed the report. Let us implement it. Once implement it, and they should know that the Southeast should have one more state to be able to balance. And we know that all this whoosh and every cry about marginalization, we start addressing it. So it's easy.
Former Governor of Abia State, Orji Uzor, more information is coming about the activities of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and the declaration of the group as a terrorist organization by the Nigerian army. Today, the federal government said IPOB is being sponsored by what it describes as a coalition of disgruntled elements and treasury looters with the aim of destabilizing the country and also triggering chaos. The Minister of Information and Culture, Mr. Lai Mohammed, in a statement says Nigerians must understand that IPOB was not set up to fight for the rights of anyone or group, but as a tool to destabilize the nation, divert attention from the efforts of the Buhari administration, and obliterate the laudable achievements of the government. Mr. Mohammed reminds Nigerians of the activities of the IPOB leader, Mr. Anambra, whom he says led a protest at the Nigeria House in London against Boko Haram insurgency and in support of Nigeria's unity under the Jonathan administration, and has suddenly metamorphosed into an IPOB monster who will rather set the nation ablaze. The minister also thanked the military for their timely decision, which helped to stop IPOB from setting the nation on fire, and the intervention of the governors of the state in the southeast who have proscribed the group. The security of lives and property in Anambra State remains crucial priority for the government. As came to the fore at a town hall meeting in Awka, the state capital, where Governor Willie Obiano announced that every decision made by his administration is in the interest of the people of the state.
The governor of Anambra State, Mr. Willie Obiano, arrives at the venue of the town hall meeting, the Professor Dora Kinyuli Women's Development Center, Oka. The reception includes service commanders and some members of the Anambra State Executive Council, traditional rulers, the clergy, the Muslim community, Presidents General of Communities, local government chairmen, market men and women, representatives of youth groups, opinion makers, and others.
Running a very inclusive.
He's here to talk about his commitment to sustaining peace and security in Anambra State, which has always been a priority of his administration.
Every fellow, whether you are Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, Igbo, anything, non-indigenous, you are safe to move, go about your duty without fear or favor.
The governor explains the military exercise that has been generating controversy.
I ordered yesterday the police and the army to guide the mosques, the churches, and what have you. It is with the interest of protecting lives and property.
Reassurances come from the police that provision has been made by the Commissioner of Police through the establishment of the Police Public Complaints Unit to report any issue.
Please, when you have such issues, let us know. Let the nearest DPO know. I'm sure it's going to solve the problem. We send out to our president every report like that we get, and we take disciplinary action against them.
The chairman of the Willie Obiano re-election campaign committee commends the governor for his wisdom in managing the IPOB situation and calls on the federal government to be fair and even-handed in its actions.
I mean, when something that is known happens, and you come with the solution that will, be acceptable to everybody, there will be no need to use force. Let the federal government help the governments of the Southeast by being even-handed in their actions.
Also announced was the latest developmental activities of the state government across the state, which include the electrification project that will benefit 35 communities, road and bridge projects, as well as more street lighting projects.
Just 2 days after its launch, the Nigeria Army says the objectives of the Igweke, also called Python Dance 2, is aimed at combating security challenges in the southeast part of the country, including kidnappings, farmers-herdsmen clashes, armed robbery, cultism and violent secessionist agitations, among others. Spokesman for the 82nd Division, Colonel Sajiri Musa, reiterated the exercise and similar ones with different code names in some parts of the country were deliberately initiated and conducted with an overarching aim of checkmating identified security challenges prevalent in the regions where they were carried out. He listed some of the successful exercises to include Operation Nawase in Southwest, which was designed to curb cases of illegal oil bunkering, Operation Shirin Harbi in southern Kaduna, and Operation Exercise and Operation Harbin Kunama in the southeast, targeted at combating cattle rustling, among other crimes. However, barely 4 days after the imposition of a curfew in Jos, the Plateau State capital, the Governor Samuel Along has relaxed the imposed restriction on movement. Mr. Along had on Thursday, September 14th, announced the dusk to dawn curfew between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. daily, following tension over the IPOB crisis in the southeast and other parts of the country. The governor announced that the relaxation of the curfew became necessary following the improvement of security in the state. In a statement, the governor assured people of the state that security agencies would continue to patrol flashpoints within the greater Jos-Bukuru metropolis. He said they would also ensure that all security measures necessary to guarantee peace, security and compliance with the new curfew order are done to avert any likely breach of law and order. The governor further asked the people to go about their lawful business with assurance that their safety is guaranteed. Meanwhile, the Delta State Police Command has confirmed the arrest of the third suspect who allegedly carried out the shooting in a market in Asaba, Delta State. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Zan Ibrahim, confirmed the arrest after meeting with residents of the Hausa settlement where the attack is reported to have occurred. He assured Northerners and other residents of the safety of their lives and properties urging them to continue with their daily activities and business without panic.
We have three. We have three at hand, and two were arrested. And by the grace of God, the mastermind of the whole escapade got into our hand. There is need for us to speak with all the stakeholders. We need to reassure them that what happened yesterday is an isolated case, and we're on top of the situation to give them that feeling that lives and property, protection of lives and property is the exclusive preserve and prerogative of our job.
The killing of a former chairman of the PDP in Benue State and 3 others has upset Governor Samuel Ortom, who has ordered the arrest of the suspected perpetrators. Governor Ortom has asked security agencies in the state to hunt down the suspected mastermind, Ijachi Ude, a former sole administrator of Otupo local government area. At least 4 people were killed in clashes between armed groups in the Gobia and Ondo communities last Thursday.
August the 20th, 2017 is a date still fresh in the minds of Makurdi residents. The day Dr. Tavershima Adioro, an aide to Governor Samuel Ortom, was murdered by yet-to-be-identified gunmen at his residence in BIPC quarters, Niman, in the state capital. With tears and a grieving soul, the wife of late Dr. Tavershima, who is still recovering from bullet injuries sustained from the attack that claimed the life of her husband, managed to attend his final burial rites. The state governor is just as anxious as the rest of the citizens for the police to unmask those behind the dastardly act.
More than 5 people have been arrested. Investigation is going on, and I'm watching them keenly, and I want to know the outcome. So we look forward that the perpetrators, the real people who did this act, will be brought to book.
And the police is not taking the challenge lightly, as it has further beamed its searchlight on the state economic and salary verification team, in which the late Adioro played a vital role following some discoveries in his personal diary.
He went to Obadibo to verify salaries, and he found a lot of mess in there. He reflected it also. We got to know that there is a transaction he conducted with some people where so much money is involved. We got to know that there are other transactions he had done with some people within the state. Even before he died, information had trickled in that before his death, particular vehicles were seen likely to be monitoring him. We are working on those vehicles.
This is not the first high-profile murder in Benue State in the last couple of years. Indeed, expectations are that the police will speed up its investigations this time around towards bringing the perpetrators to justice.
In part 2, after the break, President Muhammadu Buhari leaves for New York to attend the 72nd UN General Assembly. Please join us again.